Your product makes the perfect gift. But if you can't convince customers that they can feel confident giving your product to their friends and family, be it this holiday season or for any other gift giving occasion, then you're out of luck. Except if you watch this video right now, we are going to be diving into how you can position your product so that everybody knows and feels confident and is excited to give your product to the lucky recipient that is on their list. If that sounds good to you, then let's not waste another moment and let's get into things. Before we dive into how to position your product to be the ultimate gift, we have to get real for a moment. And I realize that this is probably not where you're eager to start this video, but I would be doing you a great disservice if we didn't first address the elephant in the room, which is you first need to be really and truly honest with yourself about whether or not your product is a giftable product. We hear all this buzz about how amazing Q4, the holiday shopping frenzy can be for so many businesses, and it can be very easy to fall into this false perception that, of course, this must be the most amazing season for everybody that sells products, but some have a different kind of seasonality. Perhaps their peak season is the spring or summer, and some are just more of those basic everyday items that are not necessarily impacted by the gift giving rush. So before we move forward, I want you to really think honestly and critically about whether or not your product is giftable. Is this an item that somebody would excitedly purchase for a friend or family member or colleague and think, I cannot wait until they open this item because it is going to make them so happy. They're going to be so surprised, so excited. Or is your item maybe just something that's really great, something that they're going to love to have, but wouldn't necessarily be something that you would wrap and give to a loved one? That's okay. Even if you're not a giftable item, there are still ways of capitalizing on the holiday season. So even if you are not the traditional giftable product, I still suggest that you keep watching because I do have some tricks that you can use to still capitalize on this shopping season and make sure that you give your sales a nice little bump to round out the year or to just continue chugging along and breaking those goals and reaching new heights with your business. I'm sorry to tell you this, but saying your product makes the perfect gift is not going to cut it. That's the way that I normally see businesses treating the preparation for the holiday season, whether it's updating their website or optimizing their Amazon listing or their Walmart product page or wherever it is that they are selling to customers. They assume, you know what? I'm going to add in a little bit of seasonally relevant touches to my images, maybe a red ribbon on a present, maybe a Santa Claus hat or a Christmas tree. I'm going to write it's the perfect gift and check mark, I'm done. I can move on to other things. Not so fast. That is not sufficient. We can all say it's the perfect gift in the same way that we can all say this is the best whatever item it is that you're selling. It's an empty statement if you don't help communicate why. So we really need to get clear on why your item is the best item of all of the other products that they could be considering giving. And in order to do that, we first need to really have a moment to think about who it is that we are needing to sell to, because the dynamic changes when you're selling a gift. Normally, if somebody's buying an item for themselves, then all of your marketing is geared towards the end user. If I am trying to sell you dental floss, then this is probably not something that you're giving as a gift. You're just buying floss for yourself or your household. And so I only have to be talking directly to you. However, when I am selling a gift, on the other hand, I have two people that I need to be considering and mindful of and speaking to in all of my marketing messages. You have the end user, in other words, the recipient of the gift, but you also have the gift giver. And in this case, the giver may actually be more important than the recipient, because the giver is the one that's making the purchasing decision, and they are seeking out that magical feeling of that satisfaction in knowing that you have found the perfect gift, that you are giddy about getting to watch that person open their present or to receive that call once they've gotten their gift in their hands, and they're just so excited, and they say, "How did you know? This is exactly the perfect thing that I was hoping to get this holiday season." That is what they're going for. And you need to reinforce and give confidence to and help paint that picture of that sense of calm and trust and enthusiasm that they have found that perfect gift. And we also know that there are many people that are striving to be that giver, even if that item isn't necessarily the thing that that end user truly wants. So if you're not considering the giver in this equation, then you're not going to meet your full potential as being a giftable item. And this is not just about the holidays. This is not just about Christmas. This is about birthdays. This is about Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, anniversary gifts, bachelorette party gifts, whatever type of giftable item you're selling, this applies to. So we need to be thinking about both, but having a little bit more of a preference for the giver. And then when we're talking about the recipient, we are talking about that recipient through the lens of the giver, not just directly to the recipient, or that's going to be a missed opportunity. So I mentioned that a lot of people, the way that they prepare their content for the holiday season is they add a few festive flourishes to their imagery. And I did not mean that to suggest that you shouldn't do that. In fact, that is a really, really important tip that you must consider for any kind of seasonality that's associated with your gift giving. And if it's not a seasonal component, then maybe a way of capturing that relationship that could also be valuable in really enhancing and demonstrating through your imagery. So how can you essentially merchandise your online presence for the season or for the occasion? So in this particular instance, this particular step, I want you to think about, if you had a physical store, how would you go about preparing for the season? You'd probably play seasonal music, you would add decorations, you might have some promotions that are relevant for that time, and really thinking about all of that. You may even offer gift wrapping when people are purchasing, when you wouldn't normally do that if it was just the regular time of year. And so you want to take that same lens when you are cultivating your online presence. So how can you add seasonally relevant flourishes to really paint that picture of the time of year and help get that person into the gift giving mindset? Gift giving is not necessarily all roses. It can be quite stressful to just have so much to do. It's also a busy time of year with holiday parties and wrapping up the year. And then on top of that, you feel this immense pressure to find the perfect gift. So trying to find ways of cultivating that joy and the positive aspects of the holiday season so that people are in an excited, positive, enthusiastic frame of mind when it comes to deciding whether your item is a good fit for them or not. So do not discount the importance of those seasonal elements in your imagery and your text. But another very important part of doing this correctly make sure that you have your backup images and your backup text locked and loaded and ready to go early on in the post-holiday period of time. Because if it's March and you still have Christmas trees in your product images, that's not really going to reflect very well on you. And that could potentially be showing a level of sloppiness and lack of care and attention to detail that may make customers think that you're not a super serious business that they want to be buying from. So add that onto your to-do list, your project management tool, wherever it is that you add your tasks that you can't forget, and set that for early January so that you have things ready to go for a new season. And then just like with any other holiday, be it Halloween or Mother's Day, make sure to cycle that out immediately or very shortly afterwards so that everything feels fresh and of the moment. This is also one of those things that even if you are not a traditional giftable item, you can still be considering, even in just how people might be using or thinking about your item. So let's say that you sell electrolyte powder, an effervescent powder that you mix into your drinks. And perhaps in the summer, it's all about how active you are, how hot the weather is, how sweaty you get. And so the need to replenish those electrolytes, where perhaps as we're moving into the winter, people are spending more time indoors. They are breathing recirculated, warm, dry air. There's more illnesses that are going around. People are also traveling more. So then the need for that electrolyte drink takes on a different significance. And so there are still ways that you can bring in those seasonal visual elements as well as that textual positioning to capture the moment, to be relevant to people, and to be top of mind for the things that they are looking at now. And in that frame of mind that they're in the moment, not thinking about once the weather is warm and getting bummed out because now summer feels like a million years away. But, oh yeah, I didn't really think about the fact that this is also something that would be great when I'm going to be on an airplane every other week for the next few months. Keywords are also seasonal, and there is great opportunity in riding that seasonal keyword wave. It's just that you have to be thoughtful and selective about it, because obviously those really great presents for her, perfect gift for mom, those types of keywords, not to say that you should neglect them, but they're going to be much more competitive and much harder to get the kind of impact that you're looking for with those. But that doesn't mean that you should totally discount any seasonally relevant keywords that could be very valuable in helping drive that gift giving, gift buying traffic. So make sure, and this is where if you have access to historical data, it can be extra helpful, because if you're preparing your content for October to go live in October, but it's in August or September, then the keywords that you are seeing are not going to be in line yet with where there's going to be an influx in searches for the holiday season. And that time of year, there's still a lot of back to school and late summer, early fall. It's a different time of year. And so if you can look at historical data from the last year, the last few years, you can start to get a sense of what those potential keywords might be. As the holiday season begins to ramp up, then you can start to integrate those into your content and also continue to do your research to make sure that you are not missing out on any really fantastic opportunities to be able to generate some of that traffic, because you may have a wonderful gift, but if you're not getting people into your virtual door, into your product page, into your website, then all of this effort is for nothing. So your keywords are a very important piece of that, but just like your imagery, make sure that you are ready to switch those out as soon as the holiday season is over, because you don't want to be missing out on valuable keyword opportunities that may be shifting as the season changes, and it's going to make you seem very outdated if you are talking all about the ideal gift for teenage girls this Christmas and it's now in Valentine's Day season. Sometimes I see people trying to do a workaround where they will just add all the gift giving opportunities. So they say it's the perfect gift for Christmas, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, anniversaries, wedding, etc., etc., etc. Don't do that. It's so sloppy. It really doesn't take that much time or effort to rotate out those keywords as the year progresses and changes, and that those little details make a big difference, especially when customers are comparing multiple different options. The one that feels like it's speaking most to them, that's most reliable, trustworthy, those pieces can't be understated. People need to feel confident that they are giving something of quality, something that they can rely on, because they're not just buying it for themselves where perhaps they don't mind if they have to return it. They are giving it to someone else. So they don't want to give something that's going to break or not function in the way that it needs to, or only work for a very short period of time before it starts having problems. They want to give something that they know is going to be a representation of how they want to be perceived as this person that just has everything all together and is just winning at life by giving the perfect gift left and right. And so make sure that you are doing everything that you possibly can to build that trust with your potential customers. So I mentioned at the beginning a fun trick that can be used even if you are not a giftable item, and that is to capitalize on the treat yourself momentum. So a lot of people find shopping for gifts to be very stressful and overwhelming. And so they're also more inclined to buy some items for themselves to make it feel like it's not such a demanding time of year. And so perhaps your item isn't necessarily giftable, but it could fall into that treat yourself umbrella. Or perhaps your item is so fantastic that the gift giver doesn't want to just buy it for the person that is on their list, where they realize this looks so great that I want it for myself as well. I don't want to just give it to somebody else or give it to somebody else's, but I need this too. And there are subtle ways that you can plant those seeds in your copywriting and in your imagery to help encourage that. And that can really help increase your average cart value so that you're not just getting one item purchased, you're getting a few. And that can be very transformative for your business, because that average cost per item of advertising and marketing it is going to go down significantly if people are buying more than one at a time. So you need to do it in a very thoughtful way, but that can be really, really golden. So I know I have spent the majority of this video talking about how there are two people to be considering as you're going about this strategy. However, there is an exception to that rule, and that exception is the gift card recipient. So all of the people that are probably going to start purchasing on December 25th, if we're talking about the holiday season, through early January. So they've received gift cards, and now they get to be in the driver's seat of deciding what it is that they want to buy. So in this case, they are the giver, if you will, and the recipient. And so it might be worthwhile to also consider that strategy as you are putting together your holiday plans, to see if you may want to adjust some things ever so slightly as you shift more into gift card redemption mode, and thinking about, okay, maybe I'm playing up this element of giving a bit too strongly for somebody that's now in the role of deciding what gifts they want to buy for themselves. So it may not actually require a complete overhaul of your content, but it is something that you want to be at least considering as you are gearing up for the holiday season, to see if there may be some adjustments that you might want to make to be ready to capture that additional bump of potential buyers that are loaded up with gift card cash that they are eager to spend. And a lot of those people may not be only buying giftable types of products. They may also just be buying some of their essentials that now they don't have to put their paycheck towards. So that's another area where perhaps you could get a little bit of benefit from if you are not a traditional item. Also, what happens directly after the holidays? We have the new year. So the new year, that fresh possibility, not just if you're selling items that are traditionally new year related, like planners and supplements and exercise equipment, but thinking about how you can actually capture that time of year to really build on the momentum that you've generated from the holiday season and continue to capitalize on that and grow and transform what was an amazing holiday season into an even more record-breaking new year. And so with that, you don't want to be putting all of your time and attention into the holiday season and then ignoring what comes afterwards. It's also so important that you begin thinking beyond the holiday season into the year ahead, into the next season, into whatever it is that is happening after that. So we've spoken about that when it comes to having fresh imagery ready to upload and your keyword strategy for post holidays and your content refinement with your copywriting. But that also goes towards your general strategy for thinking beyond the holiday rush. If you're selling a giftable item, it's easy to just fall into hyper fixating on this Q4 and then being so exhausted that to ramp back up takes a lot of time and energy. And if you really want to get ahead of the competition, then use that recognition to your advantage and be ready to blast out of the gates in the new year with even more clarity and strategy and capitalizing on that momentum to make it a truly spectacular year. And so we've spoken a lot about the different things that you need to do to make this holiday season amazing, but don't allow that to distract you from also preparing for a phenomenal year ahead. We've spoken about things that you should be considering, whether you are selling an item that's giftable for the holiday season or for any other gift-giving occasion, but we didn't go into something really critical, which is how to take all of that up a notch with a really strong, clear idea of how to communicate your key benefits, because that's the thing that ultimately persuades people to understand why your product is the perfect one for them. And so if you want to learn how to do that, then I suggest that you watch the video that's being recommended right now. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Bye.